Welcome to ATV News. I'm Ben Mermel. Let's jump right in with our first story. COVID-19 has affected American university students in many ways, but one area where students seem to be particularly struggling is housing. Many students had originally signed leases in the fall of 2020 with the widespread expectation that campus would be operating normally upon their return. However, at the last minute in late July, President Burwell announced via email that AU would be complying with newly introduced DC biosafety regulations, and on-campus housing was canceled for the year. In December, it was announced that the university, in an effort to return a semblance of normalcy to campus, would be implementing a MiniMaster, a type of shortened semester, beginning in March and running on through May. This MiniMaster, referred to officially as a mid-semester residential experience, is geared primarily towards freshman students who have not yet experienced life in college, and is designed to safely allow those students to enjoy life on campus despite the dour atmosphere of the pandemic. According to the Housing and Residence Life website, the department maintains that this program was made available only to full-time undergraduate students, and as per information provided by HRD, it was originally slated to host around 1,200 students in various buildings around campus. However, as reported on by the Eagle, as of today, less than half the capacity of the program has been filled, with only 549 students willing to participate. According to One Carding Dining Services, on-campus dining services are slated to resume operation in conjunction with the MiniMaster. The lack of university-provided food is leading to food insecurity for some, forcing them to rely on takeout, cooking at home, or on the AU food pantry. AU is empty and desolate, with many normal functions like dining operating under modified circumstances or on pause altogether, such as the library, the counseling center, educational buildings, and many other staples of life at AU. Only time will tell if the MiniMaster will restore these essential aspects of AU life for the benefit of the students. I'm Ben Mermel. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I am Elena Arango, and welcome to ATV News in Washington, D.C. Now moving into our stories this week.
Good afternoon. I am Elena Arango with ATV News. Let's begin with our top story. As the upcoming spring plan for 2021 semester comes into motion, students have come forward and shared their opinions through various platforms to express their concerns on the online learning experience and Wellness Week. Due to the distress caused by COVID-19 and related travel restrictions, President Sylvia Burwell and University Administration has implemented Wellness Week as a response for students' frustrations from the initial removal of spring break. This week will give the opportunity to have a break from assignments while attending online classes. Chief Academic Officer Peter Starr released a statement, quote, "We encourage you to focus on wellness and self-care throughout the academic year," end of quote. As one of the many students that have come forward in response to the various announcements on this matter, sophomore Natalie Pyne was interviewed for The Eagle on her opinion. Quote, "Wellness Week seems like a very disproportionate way for us to gain our mental capacity for school," end of quote. As the semester proceeds, there has yet been space for taking a final stance on the planned Wellness Week. Due to the uncertainty of the ongoing pandemic, staff has been identifying resources to reach out to the community in efforts to decompress and recharge during the recess. Students hope to expect these self-care tools will be useful during the weeks ahead.
Thank you for that expert analysis, Elena. Now on to Adriana, who's following a story for us about campus opening in the fall.
Good afternoon. I'm Adriana Doria from ATV News, Washington, D.C. Following almost 3 virtual semesters, American University President Sylvia Burwell announced the university's plans for the fall of 2021 semester. A recent email statement from the university says the full range of residential options will be available for fall, and we look forward to students having the opportunity to share spaces with their peers again. To many students, this announcement came with excitement. Grace Gold, sophomore honors student at American University, says, "I'm very excited that American has made the commitment to return to a full residential experience. It is more important than ever that students feel connected to each other and the American University community as a whole." Following Burwell's announcement, the Housing and Residence Life staff at American University further detailed the housing plan and application process. This more detailed plan includes Black affinity housing and sophomore living learning communities in students' residential experience. Burwell says that, quote, all students and campus services are supported when full in-person and residential experiences resume. However, she urges the focus is on providing an effective framework that together will help aid in students' lives and future work endeavors. Even with a residential experience, students wonder what their college experience will even look like when back on campus. Alexandra Komarski, sophomore American University student, says, quote, I am excited to have an in-person college experience, but I'm also interested in seeing how campus life will be different. Only a few weeks after President Burwell's announcement, students have already begun filling out their housing applications. Will this housing opportunity provide the residential experience that students have been wanting for over a year now? And will classes be offered in person? That news is still to come. I'm Adriana Doria from ATV News, Washington, D.C. Back to you at the studio.
Thank you for your insight, Adriana. Now with you is Jessica with a story about student-owned businesses and Black History Month.
Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Bates reporting for ATV News. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, American university students have been creating their own businesses and organizations to support their dreams. In honor of Black History Month, we spoke with two Black students who have been doing just this. Freshman International Studies major Eloa McCassie is the founder of the online store This Is American. She uses fellow AU students for modeling, logo design, and content creation. The goal is to keep everything AU or small business centered. The name of the store was inspired by the Childish Gambino song This Is America, which talks about being Black in the US. McCassie says that, quote, I don't want you to be a proud AU student or a proud Black Lives Matter supporter. I want you to be both, unquote. McCassie is currently rebranding her business with the hopes of pushing out more content, creating a long-lasting brand, and continuing to support the Black Lives Matter movement. Freshman Clegg major Kayla Kelly started the organization Behind Books, where individuals can purchase books to be given to those who are incarcerated. Individuals can also be matched up as pen pals with prisoners that have similar interests. The goal is to provide support to the inmates and allow them to continue their educational goals from behind bars. Kelly says that, quote, our basis is self-liberation. It does get isolating in those cages, and we want outside people to understand the importance of empowering those on the inside, unquote. Kelly wants to become a criminal justice lawyer and hopes this organization will help them become more prepared to enter into the field. While we only highlighted 2 AU students today, there are plenty more that you can support, not just this month, but every month. Jessica Bates, ATV News. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you for that expert analysis, Jessica. Now on to Mara, who's following a story for us about school-required video attendance.
Thank you and good afternoon. I am Mara Shepard with ATV News in Washington, D.C. American University continues virtual operations online this spring as the threat of COVID-19 keeps many students from coming back to campus. This has been especially true of international students who may face different restrictions abroad that prevent them from coming back to the States altogether. This means that many students have taken classes that are not compatible with their current time zones, often surrounded by familial and other responsibilities. Despite the difficulties this has created, some professors have required continuous webcam presence in order to get participation credit, even in recorded meetings. In an email obtained by the Eagle, American University's administration voiced concern over cases in which students reported having to keep their camera on during class or participate synchronously from other time zones. Although the email urged professors to come up with alternate class structures that did not rely on these 2 requirements, the guidelines in the email did not come with any consequences if a professor chose to ignore them. American University's student government tried to convince the administration that this was a significant issue students were facing. In fall, American University student government president Eric Brock was quoted in the Eagle that he was encouraging students to use a form to report their professors if they put webcam requirements in place. The university responded to the concerns voiced by the Eagle with a statement, "Going forward, we are committed to working with both students and faculty to find the best ways to meet their course's learning objectives while focusing on the well-being of all." Now that American University is in its second fully online semester, Eric noted that student voices still don't feel heard. He said, quote, "The university neglected to take action. They had every capacity to adopt a policy on cameras. The official policy adopted by the Faculty Senate isn't actually effective until next semester." When asked about the students who reported their professors, he said, "Each time we were told that they were isolated incidents. This, it seems, was the result of the university pandering to faculty to the point where it jeopardized the students' grades and well-being." In an email sent to university faculty on February 8th, the administration once again addressed these concerns and listed alternate classroom strategies for professors, as well as suggesting that they reach out first to students who may be struggling with attendance. The email also noted that this was the fourth time such guidelines had been circulated. However, the points to lack enforcement if a professor chooses to ignore them. During a time where everyone is adjusting to a new digital world, there is still concern that American University would leave students vulnerable simply because they are forced to stay home. Once again, I'm Mara Shepard with ATV News. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks for joining us. You've been watching our first broadcast of 2021. I'm Ben Mermel.
I am Elena Arango. Tune in next time at ATV News.